Well, thank you for joining me here today. And if we haven't met, my name is Donna. I am the founder of Vibrant Living International. And today I have a special guest. Today we are talking with Shiloh Minor, who specializes in helping women have a satisfying marriage. So this should be a juicy, exciting conversation. Welcome, Shiloh. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. So glad to be here.
Good. So, having a satisfying marriage, and I take it there's probably a time in your life that you didn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why if it happened easy, I probably wouldn't be a coach, right? That's one thing I tell people is that the reason you don't hear about happy marriages is because those people are quietly having happy marriages. They didn't
Mhm.
even think to talk about it because it just happened easy for them. But for me, like so many other people, after two kids, the cracks in our foundation and the lack of relationship skills and the unhealed inner stuff came out, and
Mhm.
we couldn't communicate and we couldn't get along. It was really hard.
What changed?
I changed, I think is the short
Mhm.
answer,
Mhm.
but so many things changed. I think the first thing was that I had a level of awareness that was very low. Like I just
Mhm.
thought, I don't like how I feel. When I don't like how I feel, I'll tell you, I don't like how I feel. I thought that was kind of all there was to do when you have a relationship problem is you communicate. You tell someone what's wrong. But then what if they disagree with you? What if they
Mhm.
say, I don't think that's wrong.
Which
I
they do
think it's
most of the
fine.
time.
They do. They do most of the time. And that's because we marry someone often our opposite, and that no two people have the same reality. And so I always tell women, like, just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean they're gaslighting you. That's a different category. People will often not resonate with your experience. And so they'll be defensive or they'll argue. So my
Mhm.
husband would argue with me. And I was like, well, now what? How can I convince him that I am correct in my diagnosis of this relationship not going well and my needs are valid and all these sorts of things? And what really changed was I stopped and went, what about me? Maybe there's something I'm doing. Maybe there's something I'm projecting onto
Mhm.
this relationship, and perhaps I can do something about it. Now, this was a huge shift of
Yes.
thinking, and it doesn't
Yes.
happen usually unless somebody else whacks you over the head a little bit with like, it's not just the other person, it's not just your husband. I was actually really lucky because I went to a parenting coach who was like, Shiloh, you chose this. You've chosen all of this. And it wasn't you chose it, so shut up and put up. It was you need to take an empowered approach to your kids and your relationship and everything because you could walk away at any minute. And she even said to me, you're not a victim. And it was like she had to like megaphone it because I was complaining about how everyone acted and how everyone treated me. And she was like, you're not a victim.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing anyone could have told me because now I go through deeper and deeper levels of giving up victimhood, and more power and joy and
Yeah.
freedom comes because of it.
We always want to blame someone else for our happiness when we are really the one in control of our happiness. And that awareness, first of all, it's like, what? And then it's like, how do I even do that?
That's right.
How do I even do that? For those of you who don't know, I've been married 39 years. So I have encountered a lot of what she's sharing. And I don't know too much that I would actually improve. That's where my marriage is. And not a lot
Mm.
of people can say that. Um, but there were times where I'm like, who is this person I am married to?
Right.
Oh, and if you've had any trauma in your past or childhood, which how many of us haven't had something with the amount of dysfunctional families, which is why I love what you do so much because it's bringing strength to families. And if we can strengthen our marriages, everything gets better. If we create two happy people raising children, everything gets different. And so, what are some steps to that people could implement today? And then
Mhm.
we're going to give them the opportunity to get in touch with you.
Sure. So you can start by looking for the positive. Because when things are going bad, you're just trying to fix the problems. You become fixated on the problems. But
Mhm.
there's probably a lot of things that your husband does right and that you are now taking for granted. We notice when we're being taken for granted, but we don't notice when we're taking others for granted.
Mhm.
So start by really going, okay, what are some of the things that he does every day, every week, every month? And I have never said thank you. I rarely feel any kind of gratitude about it. I'm just ignoring those things and actually
Mhm.
go and thank him directly for those things.
Yeah, that's a big one. One of the stories that I tell when I talk about marriage is my husband is now better, but when we were early married, he could not seem to get his socks in the hamper, no matter what. And I remember one day, I've got little babies, I haven't had enough sleep. I probably haven't, eaten right, all those kind of things. And I walk up to the hamper and the dirty socks are laying close to it, but not in it. And I started with the thoughts, does he even love me? It's just, why can't he put them in there? If he loved me, this is a dangerous statement. If he loved me, he would do
Yeah.
XYZ, whatever it is. And I remember I always took it to God and prayed about it. And, you know, the response was, what are all the things you do love about him? It's just
Mm,
what you said. And I began to appreciate all the other things that he did do all the time to show me he loved me.
right.
And that I'm picking this apart and making something mean it doesn't mean. And so when we begin to take control, so when he came home, I'm mad and he doesn't even know why, right? You could imagine
Yep.
the evening. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even know why I'm mad.
No.
You should know why I'm mad.
Right. 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 Right.
Oh, but then when I started thinking about all the things I loved about him, we had a way different evening.
Right.
And
Right.
so, but that started with me. The socks were still where they were.
Yeah.
And so that
Yeah.
is a lot of what I hear you saying is it begins to say, what do I appreciate? What have I been taking for granted? What have I just, that's what he's supposed to do.
And the story that you told is so good because it shows how you had control over your emotional
Yep.
state. And that awareness, like if you can even do that once, if you can shift your emotional
Mhm.
state from resentment and anger and bitterness
Mhm.
to peace and gratitude, now the cat's out of the bag. You can do that
Yes.
whatever you want. You can do
Yes.
it whenever you want. Now, that doesn't mean we bypass all our sadness or avoid it and sweep it under the rug. That is not what I teach my clients. But it has to be, how do I want to process this emotion that I am choosing to experience? You might want to feel
Mhm.
sad about something. You might want to say, I'm exhausted with the kids and all this work, and I'm feeling resentful that he doesn't pick up the socks. Now, do I want to carry that resentment for the whole day so that I can attack him when he gets home? Is that going to
Mhm.
bring me relief? Or would it actually feel a lot better if I trick it off and then got what I really wanted from my husband, was that connection and that time. And I
Mhm.
love the comment you made of, if he loved me. Women are always thinking that. If he
Yeah.
cared, he would. If he cared, he'd go to therapy. Not true. Lots of loving men would rather die than go to therapy. If he cared, he would remember what I told him. No, again, lots of men
Mhm.
are focused on something else. They will forget what you told them. And we can be so
Mhm.
hurt by our own interpretations.
Yes.
He didn't hurt you. Your interpretations hurt you. Again, kind of a bitter pill to swallow, but the upside is he loves you. He does.
As you begin to take this journey, because you
Mhm.
were with me and that he doesn't love me, this is horrible, I can't stand this, to where you are today, what has changed?
Well, I mean, on the outside, everything has changed. It's so peaceful. It's like it just used to be constant triggers, like just every 5 minutes he would say something, oh, or like,
Mhm.
I'd walk in the house and I'd see something and I was just angry, angry, angry all the time. And it
Mhm.
was so exhausting. And
Mhm.
then now it's like, life is easy. It's like we help each other. We're a team. He's doing this, I'm doing that. There's hugs in the middle of the day. There's just this flow of love where we both know we're loved and appreciated. We both are
Mhm.
experiencing passion and chemistry, because when the resentment was released, that was already all there. That all
Yeah,
was natural. That's why you picked. That's why I picked him. Right? We were very attracted
right.
to one another. And so I always want to tell women that, chemistry and passion doesn't just fade because of time. It fades because you build up blockages to it over time.
Absolutely.
So you clear those all away, and all of a sudden you're like, this is great. Look at this handsome person I married. How
Yeah.
lucky am I to feel this way for 20, 30, 50 years?
Yeah.
I'm sure I love that you're married 39 years, because you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
How nice is it to just live in love, right?
absolutely. A marriage can be bliss and beautiful and peaceful or not. And it begins to learn the right keys to make it that way. Somehow we have, at least I did, the illusion of this knight in shining armor that was going to make everything better and was going to meet all my needs. And it's not realistic. There's no human that can meet all of our needs. It begins to choose. I have to learn that I have so much more control on my own happiness than I ever thought was possible. Um, is a beautiful concept. So, how can people get in touch with you and talk with you? How many people are struggling with their marriage? I really wanted to get the word out. How would they get in touch with
Yes. Thank you. So you can check my website, which is shilohminor.com. You can contact me through there, or you can just message me directly on Facebook. I go live quite often and share my insights from my marriage and from my client situations. The biggest thing I want to say is, like, don't be shy, and don't think your marriage is too good or too bad to call, because women will always find a way. They'll say, it's not that bad.
you?
I bet it's not even worth it. No, if you're even thinking, it means that you're not satisfied and you're worthy of that. My marriage looked great on the surface. Nobody would have suspected a thing. My husband is
Yeah,
loyal, hardworking, great father, and we feel guilty to even want to have it better. But
yeah,
you're sitting on a gold mine. Like, it could be absolutely amazing. And even if you think, oh, we're so close to divorce, even that, I had clients thought they were close to divorce. 4 weeks later, wonderful. Like, you have no idea what you're doing. You don't know what you don't know. So just reach out.
if it's not the best that it could be, reach out
Yeah,
and just have a conversation and see if
that's
this
it.
feels like a good fit, because we actually do deserve to have a life we love, which is why I call it vibrant living.
Mm.
So, Shiloh, thank you so much for what you're doing and taking your hard places and then impacting the world with them. I appreciate all that you're doing and keep doing it.
Thank you so much, Donna. I really love the opportunity to speak to your community and just share my story. Because, like you said, when men and women are happy together, kids are happy, and everything just gets better.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye bye.